It was the night before Christmas. Not a sound in the house. I'm on the vino, and himself basting the bird. Christmas vinyls were playing on the old record box. I'm in me nightie and big woolly socks, when suddenly a bang, an explosion, a sound like a bomb, lights flashing and crashing on the drive of our house. Me wine glass went flying, the turkey abandoned. We ran to the window to see what the hell had happened. Right stuck in the middle of our electric gates was a yoke of proportion, all tangled and bent. There were lights shining up, and lights shining out, and lights shining down, and whining and screaming and grunting and crying. Sure, out of the door and down the hill himself and I sprinted. Not sure about the scenario being presented. We approached hand in hand. A sight rare enough. I was trying to put himself front and centre as a buff. One side of our new beautiful cast iron gates were 9 big fat reindeers on their antlers and asses. Dasher and Dancer were up on their bums, while Prancer and Vixen had gone into a lunge. And Comet and Cupid and Donner were splayed, 2 legs facing east-south and 2 more to northwest. Blitzen and Rudolph were on top of their heads, Rudolph's nose out of joint like a beacon. On the other side of this massive entangle was a 30-stone fat man with red suit and red face, full of cookies and whiskey, I'll wager to bet. Laid out on the sleigh, tilted up on its side, and toys of all kinds all over our drive. Well, there were scooters and buggies and small baby prams, bicycles and tractors and diggers and dolls galore. They were scattered as far as the eye could see. Thousands of presents for under the trees. It seems Santa on landing didn't see the gates closing. He'd come here before and it was always clear for landing. But we fitted the gates since this time last year. The reindeers got through, but poor Santa, I fear, didn't. Well, we got him up, got him out, got him standing up straight, 6'5" on the vertical, fattest person I'd ever met, with a suit that was redder than a matador's net. And we gathered the ties as best as we could, some plastic, some wooden and some in between. We loaded the sack he had on his sleigh, and we promised we'd soon have him back on his way. On the opposite side to where Santa stood, the reindeers regrouped and had quite a lot to say. Comet was giving out bangs to poor Prancer, and Vixen was fixing the collar for Dancer. Rudolph's nose was now firmly back in its place. So we slowly and carefully opened the gates. Now the sleigh and the reindeers no longer divided. Santa whispered, "On Dasher and Dancer and Prancer," then gingerly started to move on tiptoes, and Santa sprinkled the magic dust, and they suddenly arose. Himself released Santa's belt, still caught down below, and upwards they flew in one heck of a show. We watched as they soared and went into the night, pressed the gate buttons and got them safely closed tight, returned to the house and found it hard to relate to what had just happened because of our electric gates. Well, I finished the wine, and the bird that was ready started switching the lights off, the cooker, the telly, when I spotted some gifts under our tree and a note. Although squiggly, you could read it, you see, and it read, "On the night before Christmas, could you kindly make sure that your electronic gates are kept bloody open? Caught up in them gates got me to thinking that when I'm doing this thing I shouldn't be drinking. So kids, don't leave out whiskey or sherry or stout, just leave out fresh milk and cookies and stuff. The reindeers are raging and I'm on their naughty list. I'll be sober next year. No more driving while pished. Love and thanks from Santa.